Hatching! Brilliant goal! To bring Liverpool level. Saved brilliantly by Beckham. Amazing!
United in '96. Wembley really is the perfect setting for a game of this magnitude. Two teams who thrilled us with the quality of their football this season, and hopefully the bitter rivalry that's existed between these two famous clubs down the years won't deter them from producing an FA Cup final to savour. All the ingredients are there certainly for a memorable day. United with their crop of outstanding youngsters on the verge of history as they pursue an unprecedented double-double, and Liverpool seeking the win that would underline the resurgence that they've enjoyed this season with a brand of exhilarating play that's won them so many admirers. Alex Feguson and Roy Evans, two of football's most respected and knowledgeable figures leading out the players. John Barnes and Eric Cantona, the two captains of the day. And as they head for the centre line, they'll be greeted by this year's various dignitaries with the guests of honour, their Royal Highnesses, the Duke and Duchess of Kent. As ever on this prestigious day on the English calendar, the old stadium was awash with colour, alive with a vibrant, fanatical support that the two teams invariably attract. And there's no doubt at all that if they perform as they're capable of doing, we could be in for an epic final. Ray Clements alongside me, I'm sure you would go along with that.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, the talent that's on both sides, I mean, it is so exciting. Two of the best three sides in the Premiership. They've excited us all year, and I think this is made for certain players. You know, Cantona loves a big occasion, Roy Keane loves a big occasion, and on the other side, on Liverpool's side, I think that Fowler and Collymore also enjoy occasions like this.
The national anthem. United then with a record 14th appearance in the FA Cup final. Liverpool competing at the last stage for the 11th time. So neither club are exactly strangers to this Wembley occasion. United here for the third year in a row, and Liverpool hoping to repeat their success of '92 when they triumphed over Sunderland. And for you, Ray Clements, memories here then revived of '77.
Yes, not happy memories for me, obviously, because Manchester United beat us 2-1 in that game, and it stopped us from doing the double. Thankfully, we went on to win the European Cup 3 or 4 days later, but it wasn't a good day for myself, and it wasn't a good day for Liverpool Football Club either.
John Barnes introducing the Liverpool players to the Duke of Kent. Are you really taking in what goes on here? Are you really listening to what's being said?
No, you're totally oblivious to it. All you want to do is get this part of it over, break away, get a run on that turf, get a few touches of the ball and get into the game. You've waited long enough, you've been studying that tunnel for long enough. Roy Evans there, I'm so pleased for him. He's a marvellous lad. I played in the reserves at Liverpool when I first went there. He's Liverpool through and through. And I saw him walking out there before, and he looked so proud and looking for his wife in the stand there. And for the whole Evans family, I mean, it's a tremendous day.
Well, talking of pride, what about the moment this man must be sobering now, Eric Cantona?
Well, yes, I mean, I don't suppose he could believe that, I mean, what he went through last season, now to come back and influence this Manchester United side so much. I mean, there are many youngsters in this United side, but he has scored so many vital goals for them and gelled them together in this last third of the season that, you know, it's a marvellous moment for him to be going along there.
Well, there's the man who has achieved so much, Alex Feguson. Done so much for Manchester United. And who would have thought he could have turned things around as he has this season after that opening day defeat of the league season against Aston Villa. So many people then writing them off. The referee then is Dermott Gallagher from Banbury in Oxfordshire. Such a big day for him as well. After his two linesmen and the reserve official there, Paul Durkin. The linesmen today, Paul Walton and Tony Bates. And there's a real air of expectancy around Wembley. No one has been talking of an anti-climax today. All the build-up has been positive, talk of attacking, adventurous football, dominating the pre-match thinking, and certainly with so many enterprising players on view, it will be, I think, a major letdown if the game didn't match its obvious potential. So Bert Menaship from the Football Association leading off the dignitaries, and the two teams break to their respective ends now, which gives us a chance to check on the lineups for this afternoon. Well, Liverpool first, no late surprises. It's the lineup announced on Friday by Roy Evans, with Jaime Redknapp preferred in midfield to Michael Thomas, and Phil Babb getting the manager's vote in defence rather than Neil Ruddock. The rest of the side picks itself these days, with the pairing of Robbie Fowler and Stan Collymore in tandem up front. 55 goals between them this season. Michael Thomas and goalkeeper Tony Warner on the bench, along of course with Ian Rush, hoping for a farewell appearance on the Wembley stage. Ray, how do you see the formation shaping up?
Well, they'll play with the three at the back as they have done all year, with McAteer and Jones pushed in, but McManaman's the most important man in this side. He's the one who floats around behind the front two, goes left, right, bursts past the front two, and always causes problems in that position. It's difficult to pick up.
Well, Roy Evans had shown his hand then yesterday, but Alex Feguson didn't reveal the makeup of his Manchester United team until this morning. And it was the news Paul Scholes and Steve Bruce didn't want to hear. They were the two regulars at risk, and their places have gone to Andy Cole up front and to David May at the back. The younger of the Neville brothers, Philip, is included, but Gary is only on the bench, along with Paul Scholes and Lee Sharpe. All eyes, of course, on the number 7, Eric Cantona, whose remarkable comeback was confirmed this week by his acceptance of the Footballer of the Year award. Right?
Well, it's a very basic 4-4-2, but Cantona playing off Cole is so important to Manchester United. The two players that cause havoc for Manchester United, obviously Cantona, he goes into holes where it's very difficult to mark, and that'll be interesting to see how Redknapp and Barnes cope with that when he drifts off the front. But Ryan Giggs doesn't just play out on that left-hand side either. He'll burst through the middle from the left-hand side, and in those areas he's difficult to pick up as well.
Well, David May preferred then to Steve Bruce. Such a disappointment for the veteran Bruce, and a very difficult decision, I'm sure, for Alex Feguson to make, to leave out such an experienced figure. For May, this will confirm that he's an established United player now.
Well, certainly I think it was a good decision. Steve Bruce hasn't played for some while. David May's played exceptionally well in the games that he's come in, and I think he would find it hard done to if he hadn't have been picked here this afternoon.
Well, he'll have the task of coping with this young man, Robbie Fowler. Hoping today to become the first player since Peter Osgood of Chelsea back in 1970 to score in every round of the FA Cup. 36 goals in competitive games this season for this prolific young striker.
Well, he really is amazing, isn't he? I mean, for someone so young. And there's Ian Rush, and of course Robbie Fowler's the first to admit that Ian Rush has taught him an awful lot, and this is Rush's farewell performance.
We're all set then for the 1996 FA Cup final. Dermott Gallagher, the man in charge. Manchester United already the champions, and they're saying today is simply a bonus for them, but make no mistake, their appetite, their desire to complete this historic second double will be burning as fiercely as ever as they get us underway, attacking the goal to our right. United in their home strip, wearing the famous red and white as their reward for winning the toss to decide the choice of colours. Liverpool in their away strip, green and white. This is Andy Cole. Cantona. David May. Now to Philip Neville, just 19 years old, the youngest player on the pitch. Here's Roy Keane. Cantona making the run ahead of him. But just beyond Neville. Liverpool, of course, having missed out on the final run-in for the Championship, will be equally determined to end the campaign with some silverware to show for their enterprise and endeavour over the past few months. David Beckham, another of these exciting youngsters brought in by Manchester United this season. Irwin. Keane. On in by Nicky Butt. This is Phil Babb. I think has been included really for his extra mobility, Ray.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it was a difficult decision for Roy Evans to make, but I think it was the right one. Phil Babb is certainly very, very mobile, very, very quick. And of course, there's lots of pace in that Manchester United side. So I think that Roy Evans has gone for the three most mobile central defenders that he's actually got in his squad.
John Scholes, one of those three central defenders, along with Babb and Mark Wright. This is Jones. Just asking a bit too much of Robbie Fowler, whose path was being blocked anyway by Gary Pallister. Fowler's actually got 4 games without a goal, but his tally overall quite phenomenal. Goal after this one, Wright missed his header. Out comes David James to make the save, and he was put under some pressure there by Cole, and indeed by that error of judgment really from Mark Wright. He's been so solid all season for Liverpool. Collymore won't reach that one.
Yes, really, Mark Wright, he should have done better with that clearance there from Schmeical, shouldn't he? And of course, David James, when it bounced up, I thought him big and strong would have caught hold of that, but even he wasn't able to hold on to it with the challenge that came in from Andy Cole.
McAteer with a header. Hit off it by Redknapp, straight to Cantona. Here's Giggs. Handball by John Barnes, the Liverpool captain. Roy Evans, who's done such a marvellous job in reviving Liverpool's fortunes. Pallister. Cole had pulled away to the left side. Mark Wright had gone out there with him. Cole taking the throw quickly to Neville. Now Pallister, who of course only came back into the United side late on in the season, suffering with a back injury that's still giving him problems, I think. Hopes to force his way back into the England squad in time for Euro 96. Here's Keane, the Irishman, on for Neville. Cantona's in the middle with Cole. Keane. Little flick then by Nicky Butt, but read by John Scholes. May then head it forward for United. On by Cantona, to Cole, but he snatched it too.
Well, I think that was a little bit too early in the match, that chance for him there. I mean, it really was a golden opportunity, and I think that he could have had a second touch. It's nodded through here. Cantona gets up, delightful flick, and I think there he could probably have another touch before he strikes it. Snatches at it, and it's wide.
Well, that sums up the way that Andy Cole has been playing this season. I know Alex Feguson feel he has improved his all-round game, but he's not as sharp as he was certainly in his Newcastle days. Cantona had the foresight then to release him. Keane. So crucial to United in the heart of the midfield, Roy Keane, alongside the equally tenacious Nicky Butt. Here's Butt now. Played in last season's final, mainly because of United's injury problems at the time. Cantona. Outmaneuvered by Scholes, then Fowler. McManaman. Good play by David Beckham. A wonderful pass through to Cole. It's another great chance. And Scholes was up to the task.
What a wonderful ball that was from Beckham. That was an absolute superb ball, and Andy Cole again really should have done better with that opportunity. But Roy Evans will be a little bit worried how he's back here coping with United at the moment.
Giggs now in full flow. Cole in the centre, and Beckham arriving! wonderful stop by David James. Threw himself into that drive from Beckham. Well, you wondered if one or two of these United players, the youngsters, might freeze. There's no sign of that.
No way. I mean, thankfully that was at a good height for David James to make the save, but it was a tremendous flowing move, and United certainly on top.
The flick on was from Pallister.
And here we see Ryan Giggs turning inside Mark Wright, getting away from him here, and now he gets his head up and he sees Beckham arriving. There he sees him, rolls it into his path, and it's a great strike, but it's just at the right height that James can throw himself. If that had been lower, he'd have had great difficulty saving it.
Beckham, who of course scored the winner in the semi-final. Phil Babb. Pallister having to turn. Now David May. Irwin through the middle in search of Cole. Wright was there with him, and it's the United man who was the offender then. Andy Cole, who may not have scored so prolifically this season, but he has got vital goals. This is John Scholes, and at the bars. Wright. Liverpool hoping to settle into their passing game. And much of it revolves around John Barnes and this man, Jaime Redknapp in midfield. Fantastic overlay kicks. Beckham, options around him. This is Cantona. And that was an important block then by Phil Babb. Here's McManaman, away from Keane. McAteer storming down the right side. Collymore is in the middle with Fowler. McAteer, deflected then off Neville, but here's McManaman. Irwin with the clearance to find Cantona. The counter-attack could be on here for United. Giggs. Now Beckham, who has started so positively for Manchester United. FA Cup winners on 8 occasions. Liverpool have won it 5 times. One more for United will be a record.
You have to say that Manchester United as a team have started so confidently. Each and every one of them more than comfortable on the ball. No sign of nerves, possibly apart from Andy Cole's first opportunity that he had. But Liverpool at the moment can't get into their passing game at all. Keep giving it away.
Here's Cantona. Support from Neville. Giggs making the run ahead of him. But cool defending then by Mark Wright. Did really well. Back off Collymore. Pallister in close attendance. Play on, says Dermott Gallagher. Beckham didn't make a decisive contact. Collymore can make nothing of it. Here's Roy Keane. United, you feel, have settled quicker. David May. He's been saying he didn't really feel a part of things until recently when he's had this run in the side. And Alex Feguson has retained faith with him to include him at the back today, alongside Gary Pallister. On by Neville, intelligently so as well. Ryan Giggs. 4 in the middle. But beyond Neville, here's Redknapp. Now Fowler. Line of it is Rob Jones. McManaman lurking just behind him in this free role that he has, and it can be so dangerous when he takes on defenders. On by Redknapp to Collymore. Very ambitious.
Well, yes, certainly. I mean, Stan really hasn't had many touches of the ball so far in this game, and all of a sudden he gets a chance somewhat 30-35 yards out. Tries his luck, nothing wrong in that. We've seen him score maybe 3 or 4 goals from that sort of distance this year, but not on this occasion. Way off target, sights way too high.
Well, he has formed such an outstanding partnership up front with Robbie Fowler. They've got 11 goals between them in the FA Cup, and those 55 in all competitions. The bulk of them, of course, to Fowler, who's beaten there by Roy Keane's aggression. And this is Denis Irwin. Now Butt. May with time on the ball, alongside him Gary Pallister. Whose season had appeared to be over a few weeks ago, Pallister, with this back problem that he's had. He's done really well to force his way back into contention. 10 minutes gone. Liverpool 0, Manchester United 0. And this is Eric Cantona, captaining United today in the absence of Steve Bruce. It's a foul by Scholes on Giggs. Beckham to Keane. Neville. He's continued his run well. McAteer didn't really stay with him then, but got a second bite at it. In goes McAteer. United throw. And certainly United will look to exploit any space behind McAteer as he pushes forward. Pallister. It was good play by Nicky Butt to find him. Now Cantona slipped on audaciously then to Irwin. Beckham, who'd seen that forward run of Ryan Giggs, but so too had John Scholes. Scholes, who was a winner with Wimbledon over Liverpool back in 1988 as a substitute that day. Denis Irwin will take this throw, one of the senior figures in an otherwise very young United side. So many youngsters on both teams, the average age around 25. Collymore. This is Redknapp. Now Barnes. Good play here by Liverpool. McManaman. But they will have no time to dwell on the ball in midfield. Not with the hustling figures of Keane and Butt in attendance. Scholes with the pass to find Jason McAteer. Redknapp, now Barnes. McManaman. Patient approach play here by Liverpool. But then the sunburst by Collymore. Away from Pallister, good covering. Really good covering by Philip Neville.
Well, that was the first sign of Liverpool at their best there. They were patient, kept hold of the ball until the killer ball was on, and then unfortunately Collymore just couldn't get control of the ball to get a finish in.
Rob Jones swinging over the cross. It's dealt with though by Pallister. Cantona. Amazing run led by the Frenchman. Off goes Nicky Butt. Cole is wide of him. Cantona kept going. Cole. It was an ambitious pass though. It never looked like reaching its target. Away goes Steve McManaman on the counter-attack for Liverpool. Collymore is up there with him. Fowler in the centre with McManaman. Still Collymore. And Peter Schmeical was guarding his near post. And as ever is furious with the cover in front of him.
Well, I think we're actually having to go at Andy Cole, because Andy Cole was the one who gave it away in the first place, and all of a sudden Liverpool hit them on the counter-attack, and we see that it took a shave from Schmeical to actually stop the ball going in the net. But Andy Cole had options for him and tried to be too greedy.
Redknapp with the corner. Wright has come up, so has John Scholes. It just flicked off the head then of Pallister. Now it's Wright. McManaman with him. Steve McManaman. Now Wright. Played it towards Collymore! It's a goal kick. It was Collymore who had the final touch there. Schmeical taking the goal kick very quickly. Now here's a chance for the pace of Cole. And David James was alive to the danger. And certainly, Ray Clements, it's looking at the open contest we were hoping for.
Yes, definitely. Certainly, it's been a good game so far. Just Robbie Fowler there and Roy Keane just having a little bit of a tussle. We don't need that coming into the game, because it's been a good game of football so far. United started very, very strongly, and all of a sudden, this last 2 or 3 minutes, Liverpool have started to come into it. That little turmoil there between Keane and Fowler all started over nothing, and it really doesn't need to come into the game, because both sides are playing the game as we want to see. Here we see it. Obviously, a few words are said. Keane's pushed his face into Robbie Fowler, and he's not very happy with it. Pushed him away. Handbags at 9 paces. Nothing to get carried away about.
And certainly, Dermott, the referee, was right on top of the situation. On by by Pallister. As the sun comes out at Wembley now. On the 1996 FA Cup final. No goals so far. But certainly there have been chances at both ends. Pallister probing for an opening with Keane, who still needs to curb his aggression from time to time, Roy Keane. He is such a combative player.
The thing is, he's
an outstanding 1-2.
Exactly, yeah, that's the thing about him. He is such an outstanding player. He's got a motor in him like a Rolls Royce. I mean, he never stops for 90 minutes. He's up and down that pitch, and he is a major influence on the side.
Redknapp. Here's Mark Wright. Fine distribution by him. Rob Jones. Gave that one away rather carelessly then to Nicky Butt. Keane taking over from him. The game here just going through a rather cautious stage. Philip Neville. Pallister seeking some movement up front from Cole, and he's onside here. No flag. Liverpool were looking for it. Cole taking on Wright. And Jason McAteer is on hand to help him out.
Well, in my mind, the linesman was totally right there. There was never an offside decision there. Liverpool shouldn't force the offsides, and really Andy Cole should have done better again. I mean, he looks at this opening period of the game that he is a man that's lost his goal-scoring touch at the moment.
Confident claim by David James, who his manager Roy Evans believes is the best England goalkeeper nowadays. Does seem to be number 4 though in the queue for a place in Euro 96. But certainly he has had a tremendous season in goal for Liverpool. McManaman. This is Jason McAteer, full stretch to keep it in, and he can't do so. But his surges down the right side have been such a feature of Liverpool's play this season.
Well, they have. He's another one that's got a tremendous engine, gets up and down that right-hand side. But McManaman's pass there asked an awful lot of him. There was no way that even McAteer, with his running ability, was ever going to be able to get to that pass.
Over the head of Cantona, but here's Cole. Cantona. There's a little tussle going on between Wright and Cole off the ball. Dermott Gallagher just a few yards away, keeping a watchful eye on that little skirmish. Babb almost over the head of David James, who's around 6'4", and he was at full stretch then to make the save. It could have been embarrassing.
Could have been very embarrassing. You know, Phil Babb has actually started a little bit stickily in this game. There's 2 or 3 times he's given the ball away unnecessarily, and there I don't know if he actually heard a shout from David James, but very nearly nodded it over it.
Rob Jones is the player down as he collided with Denis Irwin. Now here's the moment when Mark Wright clashed with Cole, and you can see the argument continuing while Cantona plays the ball.
Yes, again a lot of pushing and shoving, and probably from Cole's point of view it's frustration that's come in. He's had 3 very, very good opportunities in the game and should have done better with all 3 of them so far.
John Scholes. The best of the chances have certainly fallen to Manchester United. Little touch there by Cantona, releasing Giggs. Cantona's kept going through the middle. Was it handled then by Scholes? The referee couldn't have had too good a view of that. Scholes had his back to him. Certainly the ball was played at Scholes rather fiercely. Maybe we'll see again in a moment from the replay whether it did strike his arm. I don't think he could do too much about it anyway. But here's Neville, making tracks down that left side. Didn't really pull it back though with too much conviction, and James was able to clear. Cantona already so influential early on for Manchester United. Neville, such a versatile player, Philip Neville. He can operate on either flank. Pallister to Irwin. Pallister again, on for Giggs. Now Keane. Philip Neville. Babb made a forward run further up the field. May has opted for the shorter option. And then Irwin with the back pass. Liverpool just happy to concede possession for the moment. Off goes Giggs. Wright is there with him. Again, composed defending by the England man. Back, of course, in the England frame after a 4-year absence, Mark Wright. And it was he who lifted the trophy, the FA Cup, back in '92 when Sunderland were beaten here. Schmeical out quickly to thwart the danger. And what a key figure he has been for Manchester United again this season, Peter Schmeical. The master of the one-on-one, that's for sure. Jones with the cross, in goes Fowler. And Pallister may be there just enough to deter him. A quick throw out, the trademark of Peter Schmeical. But it was straight to Babb. McAteer, the Irishman. McManaman now has drifted out wide. It's left some space for McAteer to move into. That's Collymore with the shot, but he didn't really get hold of it. What do you make of this fellow then, Peter Schmeical, right?
Well, he's had a tremendous season, hasn't he? Again, you know, he's had games. I remember Newcastle away when he virtually won them the game single-handed with his first half performance. He really has a big influence on the side, never stops talking to people. There we see him there, directing where he wants his full-backs, where he wants his attacking players. And he really does control his defence, which all good goalkeepers should do.
I remember you shouting at defenders, but not as much as him.
I was very quiet compared to Peter, I'll tell you.
You were a little angel, weren't you? Down goes Fowler. It'll be a free kick to Liverpool. Taken by Barnes. McManaman. Now Wright. All the Liverpool players so comfortable in possession. Comfortable with the passing game. Barnes. This is Scholes. It's an intriguing game tactically. I don't think we're going to see quite the open game of, say, Liverpool-Newcastle a few weeks ago when two teams were guilty maybe of kamikaze defending, as Roy Evans called it afterwards. But nonetheless, there's some fascinating play going on out there as the two teams feel each other out. And I'm sure Alex Feguson has done his homework.
Well, obviously both managers have, because when either side gets the ball, they're so patient with their passing, because they know that if they give the ball away in a dangerous area, then either side will quite easily punish you with a goal. So when either side gets it, they're being patient and very, very slow at times with their build-up. And they're just waiting for the right opening and the killer ball that can open up either defence.
Do you feel that Manchester United will be the more relaxed side because they've already won something?
Well, possibly. I mean, on the way that the game has gone so far, then Liverpool are starting to come into it now. But the way United began the game, they were so full of confidence and so in control of the game. And the fella Cantona, I mean, he was superb in that opening 10 minutes. And apart from Andy Cole's poor finishing, United could already be in front.
Fowler lost possession then to Ryan Giggs.
Well, this is the supposed handball decision. I think it would have been very harsh. I think Giggs played it onto John Scholes' arm there, and I don't think John Scholes could have got out the way of that at all.
And that presumably was the view that referee Gallagher took. It's a foul by Keane, a very tightish assault really on Jaime Redknapp. Made no attempt whatsoever to go for the ball. But McManaman is doing that now. Keane there with him. He certainly doesn't pull out of tackles, does he, Roy Keane? Such an abrasive character. Fiery but temperamental. But on his day a match winner, and there are so many of those out on the field this afternoon. Here's one of them, Steve McManaman. Redknapp taking over. What was unlucky there? didn't get the run of the ball. Away by Butt to Denis Irwin. Beckham in pursuit along with Cole. Scholes, the back pass that looked a bit risky for a moment. David James made it look even more so. He got away with it.
Well, I think he's having the right smile to himself now, but when he hit that ball with his left foot, that was very, very dangerous to Andy Cole.
Jones with McManaman. This is Barnes. Ever thoughtful, ever creative John Barnes. Collymore. On now then to Fowler. McAteer wide of him. Collymore's in the 18-yard box. In goes Collymore. It's just tucked away then. But Fowler goes in. There was no whistle from Dermott Gallagher. Williams' team almost got the breakthrough then with Collymore at the centre, and then Fowler joining in as well. McAteer. Scholes. Wright almost caught then by the hustling of Nicky Butt. Babb. Again, there's patient build-up by Liverpool. McManaman making one run. Not sure what was in the line of Scholes there. Presumably that McAteer would be hurtling for, but he didn't do so.
Well, Schmeical in a terrible mix-up there with Irwin, and very, very nearly dropped to Robbie Fowler after that good ball in which Collymore nearly got on the end of.
So one or two scares at either end, involving the two goalkeepers. McManaman, now to John Barnes. McManaman, these little triangles that Liverpool play, the short passing game. McAteer. Rather careless, but Babb was first to react ahead of Cantona. Collymore now. Liverpool looking to slip into a different gear, but it's too long for Robbie Fowler. And the game is going through a rather sticky patch at the moment.
Well, it's going through a patch where both sides are keeping possession of it, but neither side, once they get to the last third of the field, are actually doing enough to create openings against each other, and that's where the problem is. A lot of neat interpassing in the middle of the field. Liverpool certainly starting to come back into it now, but neither side's in this last 10 minutes able to actually open up either defence.
Well, the bookmakers weren't able to separate them beforehand. Both rated 13-8 to win, 15-8 the draw. Steve Bruce, of course, then missing out today. Such a marvellous servant he's been to Manchester United down the years, and I gather he was very upset at being left out. But I don't think he's fully fit. He hasn't been for a while now. Indeed, there had been a doubt about his fitness overall in readiness for the game. So perhaps it was no surprise when Alex Feguson opted instead for David May, who's been playing really well since coming into the team. But at 35, Steve Bruce must be wondering if this would be his last opportunity to play for Manchester United at Wembley. I wonder. McManaman. McAteer. Fowler darted into the centre, but Schmeical making a routine save then. Scholes underneath it, under pressure from Cole. But he has looked very steady and very sturdy this season, John Scholes, alongside Mark Wright and sometimes Babb, sometimes Wright, who's missed out this afternoon. And Roy Evans said it was a shattering decision he had to make. A real dilemma as to who he would omit from the team. Thomas and Ruddock were the two unlucky people. Redknapp, who then was preferred in midfield to Michael Thomas. Scholes. A lot of possession football from Liverpool. And we're getting nowhere until the tackles came flying in and they have a free kick now. Redknapp and Barnes trying to dictate the pace of the game. McManaman to Jones. This is Stan Collymore. Now Barnes. Collymore taking over from him, and Collymore with the shot. Well, he's getting closer, but not close enough.
No, that's a good 4 foot lower than his first attempt there, but willing to still take that responsibility around the area and prepared to try that shot, which I say he's had success with. Here we see him there, just underneath it, still leaning back, falling off it, and you're never going to keep it under the bar when you fall off shots like that.
But the initiative at the moment, you would feel, is with Liverpool, after a very positive opening by Manchester United. McManaman on for Jones. Now McManaman. Fowler inside him, laid off to Barnes. McManaman. McAteer in a lot of room over on the right side. Fowler, who spotted him now. Collymore in the centre. But McAteer had rather overcooked the cross. Babb now, still Manchester United on the retreat. Jaime Redknapp. Oh dear. Well, it was such a bright opening to the game, and the teams are either cancelling each other out now.
Yeah, so I would think that Liverpool will be a little bit disappointed in the couple of times that they've got down that right-hand side, that McAteer's crosses haven't been as good as they would like them to be. Ian Rush warming up there. I'm sure they're not thinking of introducing him just yet, but if things don't go right with 20 minutes to go, who knows?
I'm sure we're going to see him at some stage today. I think to become Ian Rush the first man to win an FA Cup winners' medal for the 4th time. McManaman, those dancing feet. Didn't unnerve Denis Irwin though. Cantona. Scholes was right on his shirt tail. That took an affection then, I think, of Beckham, but it will be a United throw, according to the linesman here. The throw taken by Irwin. Cantona. Good biting tackle by Jaime Redknapp. Fowler. Too easily given away to Butt. Cantona. Now Barnes. This is Redknapp. Feeling a bit tentative. Babb. Way by Wright to Redknapp. Free header for Pallister. Now Rob Jones. McManaman steaming away down the left, but it was a poor pass by Jones. Mistakes being made by both teams. Cole. In goes Cantona. United's determination paid off then, until a rather reckless challenge by Redknapp. Giggs reacted badly, and the referee's given the decision the other way. Fowler. Caught by Beckham. And suddenly the game is staying in this untidy phase. Let's see what Liverpool can do with the free kick. John Barnes, who played here way back in the mid-80s with Watford as a 20-year-old. On by Barnes now to Collymore. McAteer. This is Robbie Fowler. Well, his range of shooting is such, he can confidently strike from anywhere, but that wasn't really hit with any conviction.
No, and that about sums up the last 10 minutes of the game, that both sides have lost that belief that they can actually open up the other side. They're happy to have possession of it, but they're reluctant to try and play that killer pass, or reluctant to try and beat the man they're playing in opposition against, and therefore there's a lot of nice passing, but it's not going anywhere.
David James just managing to keep it in, but he has conceded the throw. Taken by Beckham to Denis Irwin. Now Nicky Butt. Here's Cantona. Away from McManaman. Played it for Cole. Alert defending though by Jason McAteer. Pallister now. On for Neville. 10 minutes of the first half remaining. Liverpool 0, Manchester United 0. Keane. Cole ahead of it. Neville away to his left. But the execution of the pass simply wasn't there from Roy Keane. Well, he was able to redeem himself. And then acknowledging his earlier error. Roy Evans, I would think, wanting a bit more urgency from his team. And the same really applies to Manchester United. But here's Giggs. Support from Cantona. Just weighing up the options around him first. On by Butt. Good support play from Beckham now. 3 in the centre. And it was Scholes to head away for the corner. With Ryan Giggs working behind him. Beckham, who can be so dangerous with these in-swinging crosses. His team have forced the corner, which Giggs is going to take. May has come forward. Pallister as well on the near post. Giggs in with a kick. James stretching. Just got his fingertips to it. Keane. Beckham has to fetch it. And it's given Liverpool time to regroup at the back. But that was a marvellous pass swept out then by Beckham to find Giggs. Pallister has stayed up. Got a flick on. But no one in a red shirt could profit from it. It's a more incisive attacking play then from Manchester United.
Well, at long last, they got the ball out into wide positions and got quality crosses into the box, and it caused Liverpool a problem on a couple of occasions there. And a little bit more luck, they might have actually got a strike on goal. But that's what we want to see, both sides being more positive in that last third of the field.
Jones to Barnes. Jones again. It was all too tight though. It's rather congested in the midfield area. On by Pallister to Giggs. And his change of pace didn't deceive Redknapp. Collymore now. Fowler arriving in the middle, and that was a vital interception by David May, knowing that Fowler was just behind him. Way by Keane. Andy Cole. A positive reaction though by Jaime Redknapp as Giggs homed in on him. Keane's header has gone straight to McManaman. Irwin with Jones. Beckham from Irwin's header. Cantona's in the centre. Giggs here away to the left. Lovely turn by Giggs. Gonna check the pace there. Support from Neville. Giggs again. Played in for Beckham. Beckham with a shot. At least I think it was a shot. Got out for a throw. A shot come cross.
I think it got a slight deflection as he tried to shoot, but still, without the deflection, I don't think it would have been too close.
Barnes in quickly. But David May covering here for Manchester United. Now Gary Pallister. United looking to step up the tempo a bit now. Cole making the run. Policed by Scholes. Cole has gone away from him. Giggs arriving in the centre. Between them, Wright and McAteer have dealt with the problem. Good distribution then by McAteer. On by Collymore to Fowler to McManaman. Flowing move here by Liverpool. Fowler again. He was going up a blind alley there. There was no way past. Nicky Butt. Cantona just drifting away that from Wright. But Liverpool back in possession with Steve McManaman. Redknapp. McManaman to Jones. Right back for England, Rob Jones, left back for Liverpool with McAteer doing so well on the right side. McManaman. This is Barnes. Jones. Collymore has pulled out to the left here, as he does so often. Barnes to Jones. Collymore trying to turn away from May. That was fine distribution. McAteer's cross, out by David May. Wright to collect for Liverpool. Spun away from Cantona into the path of Redknapp, and now John Barnes. Wright. Never afraid to come forward, Mark Wright. Redknapp to Jones, who again has found some space down this left side. McManaman. McAteer. McManaman. It was all rather predictable then from Liverpool. And a foul then on Redknapp, or rather by Redknapp, on Roy Keane. I think that was going to be a caution, the first for the afternoon. No real argument there.
No, I don't think so. I think it was a late challenge, and there's been 2 or 3 little challenges. There we see Roy Keane is past Jaime Redknapp there, and he just pulls him down there with his right foot. And there's been 1 or 2 little skirmishes in the centre of midfield where maybe Dermott Gallagher thinks, well, hold on a minute now, now's the time to put a stop to this, book one of them, and hopefully it'll extinguish any flames that are starting to burn in the middle of that field.
Yes, I think that had been an ongoing argument between those two. Well, it's been resolved now. So Schmeical looking to get some distance here on the free kick. Aimed towards Cole. But no problem for Mark Wright. So he won't be too happy with his clearance, which went straight to Neville. Both teams rather guilty of elementary errors in this first half. Something we haven't come to expect from 2 teams of such high quality. David May. Do you think maybe, Ray, they're showing a bit too much respect for each other?
I think that's totally right. I think that the 2 management teams and coaching teams have sorted out each other's strengths and weaknesses, and certainly McManaman is not getting the space that he normally gets when he plays for Liverpool. One of the midfield players is picking him up all the time and giving him no space whatsoever. And also Cantona's not getting the space. Wherever he roams, either one of the 3 central defenders come and pick him up, or one of the midfield men pick him up, and therefore 2 very influential players in either side are not getting the room to actually make the sides tick.
John Scholes. Being invited to go forward, but then misplacing his pass. Michael Thomas also on the bench then for Liverpool, which gives them plenty of options. A very versatile player, Thomas. Scored in the '92 win over Sunderland when Mark Wright was the captain that day. McAteer to Redknapp. Redknapp had been out for a long spell through injury. He only came back for his first full game in the semi-final win over Villa. And since then, he's been preferred, when available, to Michael Thomas. McManaman. Jones. John Barnes. Being forced out wide by United to Jones again. And it will be some occasion if he should score today, Rob Jones. He's got 213 games without one for Liverpool. Indeed, he never scored one. I think his family and friends have a weekly bet on him to score. He's 50 to 1 today for the first goal. I think you were less than that when you were playing.
I bet his family's done some money over the years then.
Redknapp finding John Barnes. Redknapp again. McManaman taking over, teasing Giggs. McManaman to pull it back to Wright, and now Redknapp! It was as good as an opportunity as Liverpool have had in this first half. But for the display of the Liverpool bench, Redknapp couldn't keep it down.
Well, there's good play by McManaman, and against Ryan Giggs, pulls it back superbly, and Mark Wright keeps his head, and Jaime Redknapp's got to be so disappointed. That is, without a shadow of a doubt, Liverpool's best opportunity of this first half, and had to hit the target, but that's very poor finishing.
The ball won in the air by Beckham, flicked on by Cantona. But Babb is a very, very quick defender. Jaime Redknapp with that chance then late on, indeed almost into stoppage time at the end of the first half. And there is the whistle blown by Dermott Gallagher to end the first period of this FA Cup final. Stalemate so far, no goals, and didn't quite live up to the early promise, Ray.
No, the first 10-15 minutes I thought were very exciting. Man United in control of it, and certainly the side that looked more likely to score, and Andy Cole had 3 chances. Liverpool got more of the ball as the game went on, but didn't create anything. And then for 20 minutes, really, neither side created anything at all. And we've waited right until the last couple of minutes before we've just seen Jaime Redknapp have Liverpool's best opportunity. But there's a number of players in both sides who know they can do better in the second half. And I'm sure Roy Evans at half-time is certainly telling his side, as well as Alex Feguson telling his side, don't play with so much caution. We've got to win this game. A draw is no good to either of us.
Well, there was so much made beforehand of the talented players on view, the likes of Fowler and Collymore, McManaman, of Cantona. Cantona in particular has been a disappointment, really, isn't he?
He has been in the last half an hour. I thought the first 15 minutes he was excellent. He was involved in everything that Manchester United created, and I thought he's going to have some game. But because Liverpool obviously worked hard on the training ground at nullifying him, he really hasn't had any of the ball at all in that last half an hour. And certainly when he has had it, it's not been in areas where he could hurt them.
So the message really from the two managers at half-time will be a little more attacking verve in the second half, a little more urgency perhaps.
I would have thought so. I would have thought that both managers will go in and say, you know, we don't want to, you know, have a Newcastle-Liverpool game. We've got to play sensibly, but we have to not play with so much caution. We have to believe we can go out and beat the opposition. And when we get in that last third of the field, let's be positive to create an opening, like McManaman did in that last couple of minutes. You know, he went past 2 defenders, crossed it into the box, and Redknapp finished up with a chance. But we're not seeing enough of that positiveness there in the last third of the field.
Well, let's hope we see that enterprise revealed then in the second half. That's a way of it at the halfway stage in the cup final. It's Liverpool 0, Manchester United 0. Yes, hope springs eternal as the two teams return then for the second half. No sign of any changes to either team. The first half rather petered out after an enterprising start. Neither side have really played to their full potential so far. I think it's fair to say that. It's all about ambition, and you do feel that the teams have to be rather more positive and improve the service from the flank, certainly, to increase the goal-scoring opportunities. Tactically intriguing, but not so far the feast of entertainment that we were hoping for two such gifted teams. They were, after all, the two top scorers in the Premier at the end of the season. Manchester United going for the double-double to add to their triumph of '94. But so far, being held by Liverpool, who will start this second half now kicking from left to right. And this is Jaime Redknapp, who had that wonderful opportunity for Liverpool right at the death in the first period. Not all that many openings, though, before that for Roy Evans' team. Scholes. Irwin, the defender here for Manchester United. Any thoughts, Ray, as the team shape up now for this second period?
Well, I think in terms, you know, as David O'Leary said at half-time, certainly there needs to be more width from Liverpool. But McAteer has got in some good areas in the first half, but his delivery of his pass has been poor. I think that where Liverpool have had a problem in terms of width, if McManaman doesn't come out on the left, although Jones tries to give them width on the left-hand side, he is basically right-footed. And also Liverpool have been reluctant to come out to him, so they've been very, very right-sided in the first half. And I think that, you know, Roy will be hoping that he can get width on both sides of the pitch.
Redknapp, who hasn't been quite back to his best, Jaime Redknapp, since returning to the team after that neck injury, but hoping to be part of England's plans for the European Championship finals. Irwin here with a back pass to Peter Schmeical, who's kept 21 clean sheets this season. Such has been his dominance at the back for United. May's in trouble, offside against Robbie Fowler. But some very uncertain defending then by David May, and my word, he was so nearly made to pay for it.
Well, they've been able to play out at the back from United so easily in the first half, no real pressure on them. And of course they thought it was going to be like that in the second half, and already Liverpool have pushed onto them a lot quicker and not giving them that time to play out from the back. So maybe that was one of Roy's instructions: don't give United so much time at the back to play out. And it'll be interesting to see how they combat that if Liverpool continue to push onto them.
Something, of course, that Ian Rush specialised in down the years, didn't he? That business of defending from the front, as it were.
Yeah, it's always been part of Liverpool's team pattern to do that, but they didn't do it in the first half, and obviously Roy has reminded them of that in the half-time talk.
Neville. Now Keane. Alongside him in the engine room for United is Nicky Butt. Here's Butt now from Cantona's pass. Away goes Irwin down the right side. Played it towards Cole, but Scholes is there. Beckham now. Cantona drifting in at the far side. Cantona with a shot! Terrific stop, it goes! Andy Cole. Heroic send from David James. Feguson was off his seat. He thought Cantona had done it then.
Well, it was something out of nothing, wasn't it? It was a ball to the far post, and neither of them make good contact with it. And then Cantona, out of nothing, forces a great save out of David James there.
Beckham with a corner. Pallister's on the near post. James has collected, though, in confident fashion. And he's certainly saved his team there. Well, no wonder he's rated so highly by his manager. Really was a tremendous stop.
Yeah, that certainly was. We talked about the stop in the first half being at goalkeeper's height and quite easy for him. You'd expected to save that, but that was low down, and for a big man, what, 6'5", he did extremely well to get down there to his right-hand side quickly.
Hoping today for yet another clean sheet at the FA Cup. He's had 5 in 6 FA Cup ties so far this season, David James. McAteer away from Neville. But nothing in the end to concern Peter Schmeical. Here's the shot again from Cantona on that wonderful reaction save, one-handed from David James. Hasn't missed a game now in 2 years for Liverpool, James. Very much a permanent fixture in goal. Tony Warner on the bench hasn't had a look in. Cantona. Barnes maybe just got his foot to that then. Here's Barnes again to calm the situation down. Out by Redknapp, but rather carelessly, straight to Keane. Now he's given it away. McAteer, Collymore. Certainly we're hoping for more vibrant attacking play from these two teams in the second half. But what I wonder was in the mind of Robbie Fowler then.
Well, if that was a shot, which it looked like it was, yeah. That would have been the goal of all goals at Wembley.
Well, he scored 4 times against Manchester United in the league games this season. Robbie Fowler, indeed all 4. And he has scored goals, poached goals from extraordinary angles, that's for sure. 36 in all, remember, this season. Kicks. Scholes there, policing Andy Cole, who I'm sure will be casting a few glances towards the bench, knowing that Paul Scholes is waiting in reserve, waiting to get his chance. Jones. Collymore, then to Phil Babb. On by Scholes to Wright. The Liverpool passing game so far hasn't been able to penetrate Manchester United in any consistent fashion. And you do feel sometimes where they are guilty of overpassing. But yes, a longer one this time.
Yes, they certainly are, and certainly today anyway. They're playing little tight areas, very rarely opening the game up. And yes, they're keeping possession of it, but they're making no ground at all as they keep possession of the ball.
McAteer. Good anticipation by Pallister, but referee Gallagher felt he was late with the challenge. So free kick then to Liverpool for the offence on Stan Collymore. Collymore, another of the players who could be explosive on his day, but one who so far hasn't quite lived up to the billing. Redknapp with the free kick. McAteer. Redknapp played it towards Collymore. But then Butt to clear for United, beyond Andy Cole. Wright is sweeping up at the back then for Liverpool. Jones, McManaman. Look how quick that Nicky Butt was to close him down. Redknapp, that was a bit short then from Wright. Giggs willing to show his eagerness. Redknapp. Again, this studious approach play from Liverpool. Babb now. McManaman hoping to be a little more direct. McManaman on for Collymore. McAteer is wide of him. A wasted opportunity from the Scouser, Jason McAteer.
Well, that really has sort of summed up Jason McAteer's afternoon so far. He's got into some very good positions throughout the afternoon and then failed to deliver, as we know that he can. You know, he had a chance to take that on and finish it, and snatched at it.
So excited to be here, Jason McAteer. It's been his lifelong ambition to play in a cup final for Liverpool. We're taking the game now to Manchester United. Jones taking the throw. McManaman. Irwin very tight on him. And it spins away off Beckham for a corner to Liverpool. And their fans now turning up the volume of support around Wembley. It really is a fantastic atmosphere. But so far we haven't quite had the game to match that enthusiasm. Redknapp taking the corner kick. Collymore on the near post. Wright and Scholes making their challenge further back. In goes Scholes. Cantona couldn't get it away. Giggs can now. Keane confronted and surely brought down by Barnes, but the referee with a shake of the head says no. Redknapp. And all the way back to David James. It was John Barnes who I certainly thought had committed the offence then, but the referee thought otherwise.
Yes, it certainly looked as though Beckham was going to go past him there for pace, and he thought the only way I can stop him is just by shouldering him to the ground. But Dermott Gallagher is a lot nearer than we are, and he decided it was a fair shoulder charge.
Neville. He was lucky to get a second crack at that. Neville now taking the throw. Cantona. McAteer back there with him. Played in for Cole. And John Scholes had to have his wits about him. But at last the game beginning to open up a little more now. Giggs with the corner kick. Pallister is forward. So is David May. James came out then fully committed. Good goalkeeping then. Only one thought on his mind.
Well, he's been one player on the pitch that has performed to his potential. Whenever he's been called upon, he's been safe and sure. He's made one excellent save in this half, a good save in the first half, and he's dealt with all his crosses, as we know a man of 6'5" should do.
Voted the best goalkeeper in the Premier by his fellow professionals, David James. McManaman. Fowler through the middle. McAteer with oceans of space down this right side. Still McAteer. Redknapp. And again, way off the target.
He really has had a disappointing afternoon. Whenever he's got in forward positions, he's had no confidence to strike targets, shots on target. And most of the game he's played sideways and backwards rather than being a very good forward passer of the ball, as we know he is. But for some reason today, maybe a little lack of confidence, he hasn't really played and passed the ball as he can do.
Terry Venables in the back row there, and he of course will be viewing potential candidates for his England squad, Redknapp among them. But still at this stage, not too much between the two teams. It's hard to predict which way it might go.
Well, the worrying thing is that old saying, which you've heard 3 million times, the game needs a goal. Because at the moment, yet again, both sides cancelling each other out. And the worrying factor is if we get into the last third of this game and it's still at 0-0, then the sides become even more cautious because they're scared to make the mistake which might cost them the game.
Irwin. Again, out comes David James. No danger. Ian Rush wondering if, and indeed when, he's going to get his opportunity today. Alongside him there, Michael Thomas, so that's another option open to Roy Evans. Babb. Now Barnes. The slip by Collymore has presented possession to Nicky Butt, who again has played with so much enthusiasm, so much endeavour today, but no real penetration about United's play. Certainly not on that occasion. But you won't find too many more competitive players around than Nicky Butt, or indeed Roy Keane alongside him in the heart of that United midfield. But here's a man you won't see on the bench again, Norman Davies, who's been so much a part of the scene at Manchester United for so many years, retiring today. I think he's been to something like 18 or 19 Wembley occasions with Manchester United. A very popular figure there, Ray. You would know him well, I'm sure.
Yes, certainly. Wherever you go up to Old Trafford, he's always there. He's always very helpful, and I know how well respected he is by the United staff and also, just as importantly, by the United players.
Well, these two teams are showing enormous respect for each other. Redknapp now for Liverpool. On for Jones. McManaman. Jones again. And the marking again is so keen by Manchester United. No pun intended, but Roy Keane have certainly been putting himself about this afternoon. Liverpool throw. Almost an hour gone now in the 1996 FA Cup final. And still there's deadlock. Liverpool 0, Manchester United 0. Robbie Fowler. No way pass, says Denis Irwin. That's a foul, says Dermott Gallagher. Irwin clearly incensed by the decision that has gone against him, but I would have thought the referee was spot on there. Here's McManaman. Redknapp with the cross. Wright was up there, fisted out by Schmeical, but not very decisively. McManaman couldn't get to it. Redknapp on the Barnes. Fowler. Pallister didn't want him to turn. McManaman, Collymore on the centre. Great defending by Roy Keane. Kept his eye on the ball then, and his mind on the job in hand. Really alert then, Keane, to snuff out the threat. Collymore won't get to that one. Routine save for Schmeical, and he has found Ryan Giggs. Now Beckham. Dreadful tackle by Babb. That will have to be a caution.
Yes, I don't think Phil Babb's got any excuse in the world with that. That was a terrible tackle, it really was. Beckham was in full flight. He was heading at the heart of the Liverpool defence, and it's a very, very late challenge there by Phil Babb, and quite rightly goes in the book for that.
Irwin to Keane. Scholes almost caught out. Redknapp to assist him. Jones to Robbie Fowler. Now Babb. Redknapp on for McManaman. Oh, great score from McManaman. Who's there again? Roy Keane. Another battling display by the Irishman. Nicky Butt, his partner in crime in the centre of the midfield. Redknapp with a shot. But it's no problem for Schmeical, but at least it was on target.
Well, that's the first time we've actually seen what Jamie can do. Picked it up, was positive, went at the heart of the United defence. There we go, look now, he's positive, he's got one thing in his mind: I'm going to hit this strong and hard and on target. Bags of power, but good positioning by Schmeical and no problem for him.
Cantona. Wright had too much strength for him. Full back. On for Collymore. Such a loose pass, though. Nice down, Collymore. Paul Scholes going through his paces on the touchline. So maybe we will see his entrance fairly soon now. The longer it stays at 0-0, the more chance there is of that. And of course it will be Andy Cole's place will be under threat.
Well, I think that there's a good chance Paul Scholes might be on any time now, because the other two United substitutes have stayed behind the goal warming up, and Scholes has been pulled over to the bench, and he's certainly putting his tie-ups on, so I think we're going to see the introduction of him at any time now.
And both benches getting very animated over that last challenge, which was given the free kick to Liverpool. Redknapp now on for McAteer. A few gaps, a few spaces beginning to develop now as the game wears on. There will of course be extra time if they can't settle it in the 90 minutes. But no penalty shootout today. That would only be needed if they can't decide it after a replay. Down goes McManaman. It's a corner. Pallister just about managed to defy him there. McManaman will take the corner. It's a better game now. Wright has got up. McManaman. Redknapp. Scales at the far post. But over the top. A wide of goal anyway. John Scales, who's always a threat on set pieces and crosses. Now, Manchester United are there to make a change. No real surprise. Paul Scholes is going to come on, and it's Andy Cole who's going on. I think Alex Feguson felt beforehand that Scholes has a tendency to fit in so quickly, so smoothly when he does come on. But this was the better option to have him in reserve and Cole on from the start.
Well, I don't think it's any surprise. Andy Cole had his chance. In fact, he had 3 chances earlier on in the game. Didn't take them. Has looked at a player who's going through an indifferent spell in his career at the moment. And I'm actually surprised he actually came back in the second half. But Feguson has been fair to him, given him a chance. And now, as we've seen, Scholes has many times come on in this situation and won games for United.
So had you been in the dressing room at half-time, Cole wouldn't have come out then, Ray. But you weren't invited in.
I wonder why.
Babb down for Scales, and then to David James, who of course is following on from some Liverpool greats, Tommy Lawrence, Bruce Grobbelaar, and a chap called Clements. What was he like?
They tell me he's reasonable, but didn't know him too well actually.
He wasn't bad, I can say that. Neville to Giggs. Easily broken up though, and Redknapp now has found Rob Jones. McManaman in his drifting roll. And he's kept going here. Fine anticipation by Roy Keane.
Well, there haven't been too many outstanding players out there today, but I have to say, Roy Keane, taking aside his temperament, has been outstanding. He's covered every blade of grass. He's tried to break forward. He's followed runs to help his side out defensively, and has been, for me, the most influential player in United's side.
Yeah, I think I'll go along with that. Here's Neville. Butt. Neville again. Seeking out but not finding Paul Scholes. Who of course hasn't played all that often, certainly not from the start, Paul Scholes. But still has 14 goals this season. McAteer now. Collymore making a run to the near post. Beckham's clearance. Only as far as Barnes. Just coolly played down then for Jaime Redknapp. Can either team now exploit the vast open spaces of Liverpool, of Wembley? It's Collymore. Barnes. Here's Babb. Beckham in well. Scales was fully committed then. No margin for error. So Andy Cole back on the bench. It's been a disappointing afternoon for him. I know Alex Ferguson feels that he has offered a lot more just than simply goal scoring, but it was goals they wanted from him today. In what has been a very tight contest, and he had his opportunities. Goal kick to Liverpool. Just wondering now how long before we see the inrush rate.
Well, certainly at the same time as Scholes was coming on, Roy Evans sent Schmeical, Thomas and Ian Rush to warm up behind David James's goal, and they look to be warming up a lot more vigorously than they were in the first half, as though they've been told, look, get yourself really ready because you've got a chance of being on very soon.
David May positively heading away. Now McAteer. Fowler having to come back to stay onside. This is Fowler. McAteer again. McManaman has now wandered over to the left side, but there was no accuracy on the pass from Redknapp, which he's the first to acknowledge. Just hasn't been as effective as normal, Redknapp. Started the season so well on the scoring goals, I remember from long range too.
Yes, that's right. The problem Liverpool, one of the problems Liverpool have got is that Barnes and Redknapp are both sitting there in the middle of the field, and neither of them appears to have the legs to break forward and upset Man United's defensive system.
Scholes to Neville. No, Wright in first. It's splendidly then Mark Wright. Releasing Fowler. Here is Barnes getting forward now. Fowler again. Collymore's at the far post. McAteer joining in. Teasing Schmeical. But he just plucked it out of the air.
Well, Schmeical made that look a lot easier than what it was. That was a good ball in from McAteer, and Collymore's there if Schmeical isn't as quick on his feet and as agile as he was.
As ever then remonstrating with his co-defenders. He says it's his way of retaining concentration. I wonder how his fellow defenders see it.
I think they probably go deaf.
He certainly keeps them on their toes, that's for sure. McAteer. He was here last season, of course, with Bolt. Losing to Liverpool in the League Cup final. That was a late one. That'll be another caution. Philip Neville, who went crashing into the tackle, and it was totally mistimed then on McAteer.
Yes, again, no qualms at all about that. Very late tackle, and certainly deserves the yellow card for it.
I think we should just have a word there about the referee. I can't think of too many decisions I would not have given that he has today. He's had a fair match, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think you can say that when you don't notice the referee too much, then I think it's certainly he's had an efficient game, and that's what I would say about him. We haven't seen a lot of him. He's booked people when he's had to, but he's used a lot of common sense as well.
Touched off by Giggs to Neville. The 19-year-old then, the latest to go in the referee's notebook. The header by Babb to Barnes. Redknapp. McAteer. McManaman it showed for him. But a well-timed tackle from Pallister, who doesn't appear to be showing any ill effects from his back injury today. McManaman just needs a spark from somewhere to ignite this game now. McAteer. Liverpool with plenty of bodies in the centre, but nothing to deter Gary Pallister with his clearance there. Now Giggs. Again, it's one or two of the senior figures we're looking to. I can't remember Cantona getting involved hardly at all in this second half.
No, we've seen him 2 or 3 times just in this last 10 minutes throwing his arms up in the air and saying, get the ball to me, but he's not getting those areas where he can actually receive the ball.
Giggs. This is Neville. Neville's through pass. Scholes nipping in there. Very quick to spot the opening. But the weight of the pass not sufficient for him to make anything of it. Scales to Wright. Now McAteer. Less than 20 minutes to go, and still no goals at Wembley. John Barnes.
I think that Roy Evans will have to do something now, because it really is getting to a stalemate, and he needs to change the personnel to actually liven the team up.
Collymore with a shot that was easily blocked by Denis Irwin, but it's fallen for Steve McManaman. McAteer. Well, again, the service so disappointing from this right side from McAteer, who looks to the heavens in disgust.
Well, I'm sure he can't believe that he's got in this wide position, last third of the field, so many times in this game, and his quality of cross has been poor. Well, Ian Rush looks like he's coming on. It doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Thank Collymore, really. We've seen nothing from him whatsoever. I'm presuming it might be him coming up, because apart from 2 shots in the first half, I can't think of a contribution that he's actually made to the game.
We'll wait to see. Scholes up to McManaman. Fowler to his left now. Jones is outside here. What a good tackle again by Keane. Scholes smoothly on then for Wright. Rush is now taking off his tracksuit top, so he is about to come on, we think, for Collymore. If not, it would have to be Fowler, I suppose.
I wouldn't think that they would risk taking their top goal scorer off.
I wouldn't think so. Jones making good progress, but he'll want it on his right foot. And he's been forced out. It'll be a goal kick to Manchester United, and that will be the signal for Ian Rush to come on. The master goal scorer will have his opportunity now on the Wembley stage, perhaps for one last time. This is Giggs teasing right at Barnes. Cantona getting in the game again at last. He certainly has been showing his frustration in this second half with the lack of support he feels from Collins. Irwin now. Cantona out by Wright. Down goes Fowler. Defence by Neville, who has been cautioned already, remember. So he was living a little dangerously there. But the only punishment is the free kick. And Collymore will go off to be replaced by Ian Rush. Getting a good reception, Collymore, from the Liverpool fans. They know the part that he's played in their resurgence this season. But what a reception now for Ian Rush. Well, can he do it one last time, Ray?
Well, it would be a marvellous way for him to sign off if he did, wouldn't he? Last game for Liverpool, Wembley Cup final, scored a winning goal. Well, they say it only happens in dreams, but I remember a certain Tommy Smith scoring a goal in the European Cup final. It was his last game, so it does happen.
The record goal scorer, of course, in the FA Cup, 42 from Ian Rush. The record this century, anyway, beating Dennis Law's old record. He's got 5 goals in 3 cup final appearances, and he came on to score twice, Ian Rush, as a substitute when Liverpool won back in '89. The scene is set for him, you certainly feel. The script is there to be written. This is Neville on for Giggs. 15 minutes remaining now. Liverpool 0, Manchester United 0. May. Wide then by Beckham to Irwin. Keane has pushed on through the centre. Still Irwin. Butt. On, no, to Keane. It should have been. That was the intention. Back to tidy up at the back for Liverpool. But here come United again with Philip Neville, the 19-year-old, to Giggs. Almost a senior figure now at, what, 22. But elegantly wide to pick out Denis Irwin. Cantona, Scholes in the centre, so too is Keane. Keane's header. Well, the thought was there. He'd also, I think, got one eye on Scholes coming in.
Yeah, I think, I'm not sure he decided whether to head for goal and head back for Scholes coming in. In the end, he never really had enough power in there to do one or the other.
McAteer. Rush was quickly closed down. 34 now, Ian Rush. But my word, he's been a battler down the years for Liverpool. Goal scorer extraordinaire. Cantona to Scholes. This is Keane, who must be a very strong contender for man of the match. Irwin. Now Cantona. On by May. Neville. Ian Rush, he's prepared to be industrious. It's been his trademark, of course, his ability to chase back and commit defenders, as well as score outstanding goals with such regularity. Pallister. Beckham's run. Now Cantona. Scholes has come across now to police the run by Beckham, and it's United's free kick. They will post forward David May and Keane and Pallister. Liverpool will need to retain their concentration at the back. There's plenty of aerial power in there for United. Giggs with the free kick. James is there. No problem. McAteer on the break then for Liverpool. Redknapp inside him. Still Redknapp. And then played out by Neville. And that will be for a Liverpool throw. Ian Rush, can he perform a miracle again? Could well be his last appearance, of course. Indeed it will be if there's no replay, before leaving Anfield on a free transfer. Scholes. Rob Jones. Remember, there will be extra time if they can't get a result at the end of the 90 minutes. Scholes being put under pressure by Nicky Butt, whose endeavour is boundless. Redknapp. Now for Butt. Linking with Robbie Fowler. McManaman's got through the centre. Out wide here is Jason McAteer. Fowler. There was no room for the shot, but he certainly thought about it. Jones. Redknapp. Keane in the way, and that hurt. Giggs played out for Cantona. Oh, cheekily done. Ryan Giggs now, sweeping forward. Giggs in full flow. Taking on Scholes. Just took it too far. And despite the heated protest of the United fans, the referee was right there. No question of a penalty. Just took on one too many.
No, quite right as well. It was a superb and positive run by Ryan Giggs, but once he got to the area there were two men he had to get past to get a shot in, and his touch just took it too far away and allowed David James to come and collect it.
Fowler to Jones. Rush hovering in the centre. Fowler as well. This is Fowler now, and he's chipped it wide. So, inside the last 10 minutes, David O'Leary watching the game with us today. David, do you think we're going to see a winner now inside the 90?
I really can't see it, Peter. I agree with the changes. I thought Rush, it's all set up for Rush. I do feel with Liverpool, Ray Clemens made a point about 10 minutes ago that they've got to risk a central midfield forward, getting forward, and they've got Michael Thomas on the bench, and if Roy Evans really wants to be bold before the end, I do feel he would make a difference to Liverpool. You got two fine players, but the two lads that are sitting there, and the two outstanding players for me on the pitch has been the Liverpool goalkeeper and Roy Keane, who's been getting better and better as the game goes on.
OK, David. This is McManaman now, threatening for Liverpool. just beyond Rush, who sensed an opening then.
Yeah, so just a little bit too much pace on it, wasn't it? It was the right idea from McManaman, and we've seen Rushy sliding in on those many times in his career. But it's just too much pace, and it's just too far in front of Rushy there as he comes in on that penalty spot.
Ian Rush, ever the predator, sniffing out an opportunity. Peter Schmeical, who again has been in commanding form today. Just as I say that, it was a dreadful lapse of concentration by him. Presenting it straight to McManaman. And he's overhit the cross. Fowler after it, but Irwin there too. Upfield then by David Beckham. But Babb is closest to it. Manchester United with this tremendous record in the FA Cup in the 90s. They've lost only 3 of 37 ties. But they haven't managed to get the better of Liverpool so far. Let's see what Keane could do here. Persevering down the right. I think that's a throw. Alex Feguson, knowing his team are on the verge of this historic double. 8 minutes left. Keane. Now Beckham. Keane again. Irwin getting forward. Little 1-2 with the referee. Cantona. Nicky Butt. Irwin let it roll. Cantona. Mark Wright stood his ground. Great skill then. Trickery and sorcery on the ball from McManaman. Fowler to his left. The block again from Keane, who has had an absolutely storming match in midfield. Jones. The tension, the excitement mounting now as we head towards the final 5 minutes. Jaime Redknapp. Support from Barnes alongside him. Rush. All rather pedestrian though from Liverpool. United's turn to attack with Neville. There's nobody down the flank for him. So they'll start all over again with Pallister.
Well, as you mentioned, we're going to this last 5 minutes now, and I think we are at that time when neither side want to give the goal away, which is going to cost them the cup, and they're going to play out the time and see if one of them can open each other up in extra time. But I don't think either side appears that they're going to take a risk in this last 5 minutes.
Barnes to Fowler. There could be danger now. Robbie Fowler. He hasn't got too much support, although Rush has now arrived in the centre, along with McManaman here. Good sliding tackle by David May. Perfectly timed. Here's Cantona. Neville. Kicks away down the left. It goes McAteer. Neville again. Butt calling in the centre, unmarked here. Nobody let it roll on. But such tenacity shown by Nicky Butt in typical fashion. Keane now for Cantona. And Butt. The Butt had time to clear. It was looking promising then for Manchester United. They just can't find that necessary penetration right at the finish. The cutting edge is still missing. Pallister is up. So is May. And Cantona in there. James just got his hand to it. Cantona to drive it. Cantona has scored for Manchester United. A shattering goal for Liverpool. And it's been delivered by the mercurial Frenchman, Cantona. The goal on 86 minutes, and it's in no end, I wonder, to the fairy tale return of this man.
Well, we've talked how well David James has played, and that's his first mistake. And isn't it ironical? Cantona, who scored so many vital goals to actually get them the championship. There he is, lurking on the edge of the box, doesn't even touch it. First time, bash, to 1-0.
And that is the reaction of Alex Feguson. Cantona kept his nerve, kept his composure, and drove it through with such venom. beyond those defenders in the 6-yard box. Back come Liverpool now. Are we in for a dramatic finale? Michael Thomas is on for Liverpool. They'll throw everything at United now. But the double is there for the taking for Manchester United. Chipped in by Barnes. Jones has gone off to be replaced by Michael Thomas. Wright, Barnes, now Thomas. A sloppy touch though by him. And suddenly the initiative is with Manchester United. What an amazing story this has been. Eric Cantona. Didn't appear, of course, until October the 1st. It's all been uphill from there on for this astonishing Frenchman. The footballer of the year. And has he now won the FA Cup for Manchester United? McManaman. Thomas. McManaman. Too many defenders in the end though, including Keane, whose performance has typified United's commitment this afternoon. They may not have been the most attractive, but there's been no lack of endeavour. Schmeical holding on right at the finish. 2 minutes to go. Neville is now about to come on for Manchester United. They'll try to tighten things up now for these remaining seconds. Liverpool will have to throw caution to the wind. They'll have to take a risk or two now if they are to save this cup final. Beckham will be the man to come in. Giggs now. Being wrestled though by McAteer, who showed his frustration there. Well, what more can you say about Eric Cantona? Giggs. It goes McAteer. Keane, right to Cantona, the hero of Manchester United yet again. It was a good tackle though by Babb. McManaman, Keane was after him. Liverpool's throw. But first the substitution. Neville on for Beckham. Gary Neville, good enough for England, but not for Manchester United at the moment, not making the starting lineup. No foul by Scholes. United keep going with Cantona, who was fouled there by Jaime Redknapp. All eyes now on the referee. We're inside the last minute.
Well, Alex Feguson brought on Gary Neville then. He's gone to 5 at the back just to make sure they win this game. But isn't it, amazing really that Eric Cantona scores that goal, because apart from this first 15 minutes, we've seen nothing of him whatsoever, but he gets that one chance, as he's done so many times in this run into the Championship, and he doesn't miss the target.
Well, it came down to finishing today. He was the coolest man on the field, Cantona, to the relief, the joy of Alex Feguson. Never has too much to say for himself, Cantona, not to the English press, certainly. But he certainly makes himself and his feelings known on the field with the way that he plays. A wonderful footballer. And he looks now, barring some late dramatic turn of events, to have won the cup final. Here he is now. His actions out there have spoken louder than any words. Away by Redknapp to find McManaman. Thomas whistles around Wembley now from the United fans who want it to end. McAteer. And that's it! Manchester United have done it! And the hero is Eric Cantona. It's history in the making on Wembley's hallowed turf. Manchester United have won the league and now FA Cup double for the second time, the first team ever to do so. The double in 94 and now in 96. A monumental achievement by Alex Ferguson's side, written off by so many at the start of the season. They have ended the campaign in quite phenomenal fashion. For United, it's a record 9th win from 14 finals. Liverpool on the losing side for the 6th time from their 11 appearances. And he can hardly take it in, Alex Ferguson.
Well, it's a tremendous performance by Alex Ferguson and his side. I mean, he was criticised for the number of youngsters he put in, but it's worked out for him. He's put them in, he's taken them out. He's had a superb season. And, you know, this hasn't been a classic final, let's be honest about it. But I think United just about deserved to win it, because Liverpool at times had lots of possession of the ball, but never looked like they were going to score with it. You know, we saw very little of Robbie Fowler, we saw nothing of Stan Collymore. And with Roy Keane in such commanding form in the United side, they were always the side, if anybody was going to score, it looked as though they would be the ones. But and when Eric Cantona is in your side, you've always got a chance, haven't you?
So now these contrasting scenes, the elation of the winners and the sheer dejection of the losers. No farewell goal for Ian Rush. His last game then has been completed now for Liverpool. He'll be leaving on a free transfer come the end of the campaign. Beaming smile from Eric Cantona. And it really has been, Ray Clemens, an astonishing comeback by him when you think that all these got through.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. And you know, he's looked at his life and he's done his community service, and he's realised what an influence he has not only on the field but off the field to the youngsters. And his temperament has been exemplary ever since he's come back into the game. And I say his contribution to the game, even if he's not played well throughout this game, is that he scores vital goals, and he scores you goals which win matches when there's nobody else on the field appears can score that goal. And that's what he's done today. His first 10 or 15 minutes were electric, then he got more and more anonymous, and then all of a sudden, with what, 2 or 3 minutes to go, the ball drops him on the edge of the box, and he calmly just keeps his eye on the ball, keeps his toe down, and volleys it past 3 defenders on the line.
Nerves of steel from Eric Cantona, and certainly his conduct has been impeccable since he returned to the Manchester United side back in October after that 8-month ban, 8 months out of the game totally. Who would have dreamt, certainly Alex Ferguson, I'm sure, did, that he would have responded in such spectacular fashion. He really has been the catalyst for the double success of Manchester United, hasn't he, without a doubt? Without a shadow of a doubt, yes. I mean, he really has been outstanding throughout the time he's been there. And, you know, you look at the Manchester United side now, and you look how these youngsters have come through this year as well, and there's more youngsters to come through. You think, well, if we're not careful, Manchester United are going to dominate English football for some considerable time. Now, is that English television or French? I wonder. He doesn't speak too often to the English media, but he's having a few words to say there, Eric Cantona. And he has been, if anything, a father figure, hasn't he, to the younger players there, which again was nice to see. Well, that's right, yeah. I mean, let's not take away how many young players are in this Manchester United side, and to be fair, for so many young players to come through a season, not only to win the league, which is incredible, but to win the cup as well. It's an amazing achievement. So commiserations to Liverpool as John Barnes leads his team up to meet today's guest of honour, the Duke and Duchess of Kent, their Royal Highnesses. Some sadness on the faces there.
With the losers, McAteer, Mark Wright, who knows what it's like to win. And sorry for David James, who did make a quite brilliant save that denied Cantona, but in the end Cantona had the last say. How often that's been the case. And finally,
Michael Thomas and
Ian Rush with his last.
The 2 substitutes who came on but couldn't change the course of the game. So the winners now prepare then to collect the trophy, and all eyes again on this man, Eric Cantona. What a day then for him. Not only scoring the winning goal, but he will be the man to lift the cup aloft. Huge cheers as they prepare to mount the stairs and collect the trophy. Eric Cantona the Footballer of the Year. That was his 19th goal of the season that he scored today. And his 5th in the FA Cup, the most crucial of all. A classic case of villain turning to hero.
I wonder what's going through his mind now as he walks up there. I mean, this, for a Frenchman to go up and lift the English FA Cup, it must be an amazing feeling, even for someone like Cantona, who tends to treat everything as it's a normal working day.
The Frenchman and the Dane behind him. The first, needless to say, I suppose, Frenchman to lift up the cup. Peter Schmeical, who's done so much for Manchester United, standing behind him. But a shot there of Steve Bruce, who of course would have been leading United up had he played today. So mixed feelings, I'm sure, for Bruce. Wondering if his last opportunity has got now. But of course he has held that trophy up in the past. And look at the elation of these youngsters. Gary Neville on as a sub, Beckham ahead of him. And Gary Pallister, who just a few weeks ago wouldn't have thought he'd be playing in this final because of injuries. Nicky Butt, a loser last year, but a winner today. Paul Scholes and Andy Cole, the two who've been vying for that front runner's role. And overall, Ray Clements, it has been a quite extraordinary season for Manchester United. When you look back to that first day and they lost at Aston Villa and people were writing them off.
Well, they had, Alex Feguson had so many critics in terms of getting rid of Kanchelskis, getting rid of Ince, bringing in youngsters, and that they would never stay the pace. But look at the smile on that man's face, because he knows he's proved to the rest of the football world that he does know what he's doing, that his faith in the youngsters is total. And their youth scheme at Manchester United is superb. It's not just the ones they've got coming through now. They've got another half a dozen that could come into the side in another year's time or so. So the future of Manchester United is very, very bright, and I'm sure that Alex Feguson will be there with Brian Kidd for a long, long time to make sure that United continue to be successful.
He's up there now with the greats, isn't he? Up there with the Paisleys, the Busbys, the Shankleys. Alex Feguson has had another wonderful season. Embracing there, Sir Bobby Charlton. Great player from the past, still very much involved, of course, behind the scenes at Manchester United, Bobby Charlton. And there the victorious players, and the sheer misery suffered now by the losers. Moments that you have shared in the past, Ray.
Yes, I've had the good and I've had the bad, and I know exactly how the Liverpool lads feel now. The Liverpool coaching staff are trying to get the Liverpool lads to go around now and just do a lap of honour, and it's very, very difficult to do when you've lost, and B, you know you haven't played as well as you can do to actually perform at Wembley. Whereas the lads in the red shirts over the far side there, Manchester United, there for their team photograph. I doubt if any of those will get any sleep tonight, even the Neville brothers, who really are not old enough to drink yet, as Alex Feguson says. But certainly they'll have a fantastic night. They'll have a fantastic weekend, and a day they'll always remember. And Alex Feguson there, I mean, you can't speak high enough for him, can you? What he's achieved. He's running there with a cup, and he'll be on cloud nine. He says he only he's always looking forward, and he never stands still. But let's be honest, I think he's going to enjoy this for a few days before he starts looking to next season.
Well, he certainly will, but then he'll be chasing more trophies, and the big target, of course, for him next season will be the one he really wants now, the European Cup.